Welcome to part 2 of the travel journal tutorial. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our right side pocket on, and it's almost going to go from top to bottom. So just make sure that when you adhere it to the book that you're keeping nice clean lines and no overlapping on the back so that you can't see it from the back of your book. Okay, so for this I'm just going to use my score tape, or excuse me, my art glitter glue. This is pretty strong stuff, so we're just going to put glue right up against the flaps of our pocket. If you want to miter these corners, you can do that, but I'm going to put pattern paper on the inside, so they're going to get covered up anyway, and they're not going to cause any problems with getting the booklet in and out. Okay, making sure that it's nice and even. Now that I've done that, I'm just going to push that glue into that cardstock. Okay, and our right pocket is done. And see, you won't see it from the outside. Okay, for our iPad mini pocket, we're going to adhere this on this side. However, I'm going to put some pattern paper down on here, and I'll need to put my pen holder on before I put the pattern paper on as well, and the pocket itself. So I'm going to be using some pattern paper for this travel journal. I'm using Photoplays Paper Crane by Tracy Smith. So I'm going to be using this collection to cover my book and create some pretty elements on the journal. So I'll want to do my pattern paper on this side of the book first, or excuse me, before I put my my pen holder. So I'm going to choose a pattern paper for my pen holder and this, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have chosen my pattern papers for the entire booklet. I wanted to have everything ready so that we can put it all together. So the first thing I'm going to work on here is the pen holder. So I cut a piece of pattern paper, and I cut it by 2 3/4 by 1 1/2. That's this piece here. And then your acetate is 2 3/4 by 1 5/8, and about an eighth higher in width, because we're going to position it right in the middle. That way, when you put your pen in the holder, it's not going to push the paper. It's actually going to push on your acetate. And what I mean by that is, I'm grabbing my pen here. When it goes into the holder, it's actually going to adhere with your clip, the clip of the pen. It's going to run against the acetate and not your paper. That way it won't ruin your paper. So what I'm going to do with that first is I'm going to take some score tape, some 1/4 inch score tape. I'm going to run my score tape on my pattern paper along one end. Burnish Oh, this is really small. Then I'm going to take the backing off of the score tape, and I'm going to put my acetate right on top of that score tape. I'm going to try and get it as close as I can on the edge. There we go. So I have a little overlap on the top and a little overlap on the bottom of the acetate. And again, we're going to just burnish that in real hard so it makes it really, really strong. Okay. Now, again, taking my score tape, and I'm going to run it on the inside this time, because what we're going to do is we're going to adhere the two pieces first. The two pieces of pattern paper first, and then we'll let the acetate follow once I get this adhered. Okay. Burnish that down real good. Okay, last piece of score tape for the pen holder, right along the edge. Burnish real good. Okay, now we're going to take the acetate and roll it right around against that pattern paper. Okay, and burnish. Now, I just bent it up just a little bit to round it out. And there's my pen holder. And that's as simple as that. Okay, and then when we put it in our book, again, we're going to use score tape to put it in the book. Not many adhesives will work with acetate, but score tape is really very good. And also, I like glossy accents because that's like acrylic. So it's really, really strong. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the left side of my book, and I'm going to try and measure and get it into the middle. So I'm going to take my Tim Holtz centering rule. And there's the center right there. So now I'm going to do another piece of score tape on the outside. Let's see, it's going to be like this. Oops. This is directional pattern paper, so I want to make sure I'm putting it on the right side. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the front side first. I'm going to burnish. There's what I'm really looking for, to take that backing off. This is much better than my tweezers. Okay. And now that I know where the center of my book is, I'm just going to position that centered on my book, which is right about there, and stick it down. There's the pen holder for my journal. Okay, now next thing we'll do is we'll also adhere this with the inside paper that I'm using for this book. And I have that right here. So for this I'm going to use my score tape around the edge, and then I'm going to just use glue on the middle to adhere it to my book. Spread that glue on the inside rather. Okay, there is the inside of the book, and we have our pen holder, just like that. I also, if you have if you'd rather write with pencil, which I guess not many people would, but if you have a pencil that you want to use, I would use like the mechanical pencils that have the little hooks so that it holds on to this. Because otherwise pencil is just going to go right through, of course. Okay, now we're going to, before we put the pocket on, I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the papers on the inside. And I also have inked all of my edges with ground espresso. I like the brown, the really deep brown of that ink. It matches this cardstock really well. This is going to be the inside of my right pocket. Probably going to do it this way so I can make sure I get that in there. Okay. Cute little geisha girls. And then this is going to be the middle of my spine. Probably could have been wider, huh? All of my pattern papers too are 1/16 size of whatever your, or a 16th less than whatever you're covering. So I tried to get as close as I could. Not everything's going to be perfect, but you know, it's handmade. It's not supposed to be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move to the outer part of the book first before we do the pocket. Okay, so I've chosen these two papers, this for the front, and then this is going to be my focal point for the front of my book. This paper is really, really pretty. Perfect for a travel journal that's going to Asia. Okay, and then this is going to be on my spine. Now, because I'm using this cute little elastic thing, and I've already sewed it together, and it's just going to be too bulky to put underneath this spine, so I'm going to put it on top. And I'm going to adhere this with some fabric glue. Fabric glue is really, really strong. So I'll put some fabric glue on it, and then I'll probably put like a little chipboard element from my collection. I had my eyes on this one. Might do this one. No, this one would look better. So I'm probably going to put that on top of it to kind of hide the stray ends. Okay, there is my book, inside and outside, completed. So now all we have to do again is finish the pocket. Now, um, to adhere the pattern paper to our pocket, I have some cutting that we will need to do so that we can get it right under, or we can have a nice 16th inch edge, not only around the corners but also on the open piece of the pocket. So what I'm going to do is measure that. Okay. So again, what we're going to do is this edge again is 2 inches top and bottom. I'm not showing you with the right numbers. So there's 2 inches at top and bottom. So for the measurements, we'll want to use 1 7/8, which is 1/8 shorter than the 2 inch on the pocket. 2 inches. Then I'm going to put it in my trimmer. With the pencil marks where I'm going to trim from. And that creates the edge, open edge of our pocket. And it should be 16th inch. Well, it looks like I didn't cut it enough. Okay, so I thought for sure I need 1/8 less. That's right, because this is 1/8 inch less. Okay. So sorry about that. This has to be 1/8 inch less than 2 inches. So I should have measured with my here I mismarked at 2 inches instead of 1 7/8. So make your mark at 1 7/8 on the top and right side of the pocket, and you'll be good. So I'm just going to trim this 1/8 off the open part of the pocket. That'll give me a 16th inch edge around my pocket. Oh, that's much better. Okay, so now I don't have any pencil markings to do there. I just need to finish with a little bit of inking. That's our pocket. Now we're going to put that right on top of here. Okay. Now, you can use, for this part, you can use your score tape if you like. I'm going to go ahead and use my art glitter glue because it will soak into this cardstock and the pattern paper and really give me a really nice, good strong hold. Looks good. So now that I've got it placed, I'm going to start pushing in the glue in with my bone folder. There she be. And my iPad can slip right in there. Okay, so that's pretty much it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh, almost forgot about the booklet. So, I have, again, about a dozen sheets of 8x10 paper. I'm going to score these right down the middle, and I'm going to fold them. I also decided to use some pattern paper for the cover, so it's going to be in here like this. It'll have the same pattern paper as the little geisha girls. I thought those are cute. So I'm going to use that as my cover, and the white paper. So again, what you're going to do is you're going to score. Get that in the glue here. You're going to score down the middle of your papers. Not too heavy, because this is, of course, again, copier paper, so it's really lightweight. It's probably about 24-pound paper. So I'm just going to do like 3 at a time. That's the last of my papers. And also on these paper, because you're making a booklet, you're going to have a thickness here from folding it. It'll never be straight like you would by a mass-produced booklet. They just trim it off so it's nice and straight. Of course, you can do that too if you have like a dolly, really heavy cutter. Okay, so now I'm going to open those back up. I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile Big Bite, and I'm going to go, I'm going to use my small hole with my Big Bite. So that's the first one up here. So I got a nice little hole on this side. Okay, and there are my holes. Now, for my cover, because I also have to score that, and it's a little bit different dimension. This one is the outer cover for the booklet is 8 1/4 by 10 5/8. These are 8 by 10. This is 8 1/4 by 10 5/8. The reason why 10 5/8 is it has I wanted a little bit extra overhang on my booklet because the sheets move out because of the thickness in your scores. So I wanted to make sure that it was hang over and cover my papers. So I need to score this at, okay, so that's going to be off just a little bit because it's 5/8. So it's going to actually be a little bit in the middle here. So I'm just going to move, well, forget that. Because I can't make the score exactly. There's not 16th inch scores, so I'm not going to make it perfect. I'm just going to fold it, and that's good enough. Okay, and then now I have my my papers, and I think what I'll do is I'll just take one sheet and I'm going to adjust it so that the width, there's an 1/8 inch on each of the top and the bottom, and then I'm just going to make a mark with my pencil here and here, and then I'll take my big bite okay. I punched right through those holes that I made marks with, so all I need to do now line them up with my other holes, and then take my jute twine. Now I'm going to double it this time. And I'm going to tie it on the outside. You can actually do it the other way and just tie it on the inside, but for this one I'm going to tie it on the outside because I like pretty little ribbons hanging out. Little clip would help me. Let's see if my buddy can help me hold that. There we go. There we go. I'm just going to take my scissors and cut that. Alright, and there's my little booklet. And then it just slides right in like this. And there you have a nice little travel journal that you can put your electronics in as well. And a pen. And then the elastic is going to be the last thing I do. Okay. Now, so let's go ahead and work on that now. That's the last thing we need to do. I'm going to grab some fabric glue. My goodness, I did this so well I can't even find, oh, there it is. Can't find the seam. Okay. I have some Fabrifix here. I love this stuff. It's really strong. It's almost like cold hot glue. It holds, really holds. Okay. So make sure I didn't, I'm not sure I really want it to go over the pencil holder. Maybe I'll put it down here a little bit lower, and it'll be easier to pull on and off. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay. This stuff is really, really sticky too. Okay, but it dries clear and it is fast drying too. Out of camera there. I'll just go like that. Keep my book closed. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to let that dry. And then I think I'll come back and finish up the design elements, and so that you can see all the other pieces I put inside the book. I'll be back with part 3 to reveal the final project. See you then.